I'm Ben Schiller, Managing Editor at CoinDesk, and we've got a special session here sponsored by Zebu, which is the sponsor also of the main stage here, so thanks all for coming. I've got Raj Bambrat here, and then we've got James Harris from Zodia Custody, and then we've got 0x Socratic here on the far corner there, and he's from DabDab. So I'll let them just explain what they're doing. We're going to hear from Raj in a minute. So what is Zebu exactly? You're a bulk telecoms payments provider. Just explain what you're doing a little bit.
So Zebu at the high level is effectively a mission to get crypto and blockchain technology to the next, 1, 2, 3 billion users. And we saw an opportunity to do so specifically through the telecom industry, both at the wholesale level and the retail level, wherein we are working to integrate vertically directly to the cell phone service subscribers all over the world to enable blockchain wallets for them, crypto collateralized credit cards, etc. And then at the wholesale level, we are currently enabling 140 institutional telecom clients to settle value, so payments, cross borders instantaneously and at a very cheap rate. And we have enabled them to do over $6 billion in transactions till date.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you started only in 2023, right?
Yeah,
pretty quick.
Yeah. So that's $6 billion in about 18, 20 months. So
that's the power of crypto, I guess.
Yeah.
So James, Zodia, what do you do?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me on this Zebu stage. So thanks, Raj. Lovely to be here today. James Harris, Chief Commercial Officer at Zodia Custody. We are a regulated digital asset custodian based in UK, Europe, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Japan. So pretty much global. And we're also owned by a consortium of banks, including Standard Chartered, SBI, and Northern Trust. So we've got two verticals. The first one is we look after people's balances. And the second one is we also provide technology to banks and financial institutions so that they themselves can be digital asset custodians. We do that predominantly with Standard Chartered, who recently announced an offering.
Okay. 0x Socratic, DabDab, tell us about that.
Cool. Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting us. So basically, DabDab is a consumer app that aims to address the UX fragmentation in the market today. So TLDR on the numbers, basically there's about like 5,000 to 6,000 DeFi applications recorded on DeFi Llama these days. And there's about like hundreds of the layer 2s, layer 1s. To the end users, like they will feel fragmented when they access the different apps. Across different chains, seeing like changing different websites, switching between different wallets. So DabDab is basically a consumer app that aims to address the UX fragmentation. And basically, we have integrated about 200 DeFi applications on across 20 different chains. And basically, user can come to the single platform. They can interact with all of the applications on the single platform. And today we served around 12 million users to date. So, and number is still growing.
Great. So what the three of you have in common is you're all doing abstraction or reducing complexity for mainstream companies to get involved with crypto. So just talk about that theme within your business. How are you doing that for the telecom clients?
Well, I think kind of to add on to 0x's point is, fragmentation of services is like a massive issue. Within Web3, whether you're a retail user or an institutional user, you need to be fragmented. You need to go to multiple services in order to achieve one single thing, right? Usually, it's like I'll on-ramp from fiat to crypto from one venue. I'll be custodying my assets in another one. I'll be verifying transactions in another venue, such as a scanner, etc. And for most people that aren't necessarily Web3 native, and nor are they highly incentivized to become Web3 native, this is a pretty high barrier to entry. So with Zebu, what we did specifically for institutions was we added a bunch of value-added services into one specific platform. We enabled fiat on-ramp, off-ramp, KYC, KYB, KYT, custodial, non-custodial services, etc., along with invoicing, all in one platform, wherein their experience as a user doesn't really change much from what they were already used to, but they still get the end benefits of using blockchain technology. And I think that's like a pretty core ethos of ours, with while we horizontally expand in other industries such as commodities, music, automated payments, and we even are vertically expanding within telco, our main focus continues to remain is how do we give the end benefit of blockchain technology to the larger masses of institutional and retail users, while abstracting them away from the complexity of fragmentation and lack of understanding.
So you're reducing the cost of making bulk payments, B2B bulk payments within telecom companies.
Yes.
So what was the problem they had before that you're now solving with a stablecoin mechanism?
So number one, massive delays using traditional bank accounts simply in order to remit value, because most wholesale service providers are remitting at a global scale, right? Whenever you're remitting at a global scale, the fiat is going through multiple institutions usually, anywhere between 2 to 3. And in the process, those institutions have reserve requirements. And as part of their reserve requirements, they will hold your capital for 1, 2, 3 days at a time, which could lead to a delay of, up to 14 days in some cases. So the wholesale service providers were losing out on massive opportunity to pre-purchase capacity at a global scale because of those delays. And additionally, specifically for emerging markets where dollar availability is low, they weren't expensive. Yeah, exactly. They weren't able to maximize their potential when it came to margins and, acquiring business at a global scale. So what we did was we set up pairs at a local level with ZBU and the local currency, and we started sourcing stablecoin from a much cheaper avenue.
ZBU is your utility
Yes.
token. Yeah.
Yes, CBU is our utility token. It's used for remittances, on-ramp, in some cases store value, and loyalty and rewards. And that is effectively what enables cheap transactions at a global scale.
Right. So James, what does abstraction mean for you?
Actually, we share another thing in common. We all work with Waxman, the PR agency. So they got us together on the stage today, which is super cool. I think abstracting away the blockchain for us is not just something we deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's something that is a core value proposition for us. I mean, our clients are banks, brokers, institutions, fund managers, that kind of thing. And they want exposure to the digital assets without the headaches that come with them, right? They want to explore the paradigms that are possible in digital assets, but they just don't want to do the infrastructure work. So I think we help our clients interact with digital assets in a way that feels familiar to them. And that means, one, we need to know what their flows are and how they do things, because we need to match up things that they do. But we don't want them to be too worried about key management or smart contract security risk and that kind of thing. We abstract that away from them. And so really then it boils down to us providing them with a regulated bank-grade custody service where the assets are held in the same way that they're already used to with traditional assets or whatever it is. So there's a couple of ways that we do that. So our first vertical is that we provide balances, and we hold balances and wallets for our clients. And a client shouldn't really care whether it's BTC or a tokenized fund, right? It's the same. They want to hold the assets. They want to show them on the GUI. They want to be able to know what it's worth. They want to be able to transact if they need to. That's it. They don't need to know the vagaries of what it's like to interact with the underlying blockchain. And then from a SaaS white label perspective, they just want a technology platform that looks like everything else that they've got, right? So that's, I think, a key thing that we do, and that's why banks like Standard Chartered and SBI Group, they all trust us to do that. I always like to joke that custody is actually the most stressful, boring job in the world. And the reason why it's stressful and boring at the same time...
It sounds like a joke.
It doesn't feel like a joke, but, welcome to our world. But it's because just to provide a wallet service that has all of the coins and tokens that it needs to hold, all of the services that are attached to it, you have to integrate with everybody, right? You have to understand new protocols. Everyone's got different APIs. You have to take that away. And as a whole, if you look at that, it's a big exercise in abstraction. So that's really what we do. We want to see blockchain really as an enabler, not a barrier. Right. So that's how we look at it, and we like to bring our clients on that journey. It's a really tough journey, so if we can impart some of the lessons we've learned the hard way, so that they don't have to, they can get on what's important to them, which is serving their customers and growing their businesses.
Right. 0x Socratic. So I love the name, by the way. Dab. It's a DeFi platform that allows people to transact across multiple chains from a single place, right?
Yep. Yeah. Basically, like abstraction. Abstraction is the core value of what we offer, and abstraction to us is about efficiency. Right. Before we started this application, we've done some data studies in the market. We see that, like, on average, there's about a couple million active users, monthly active users in the market, but each of them will only really have like about 5 to 10 minutes a day interacting with all applications across the market. But it creates, the problem it creates is without a unified platform, without a unified access place, it creates tougher and tougher market for new startups trying to compete for a portion of the user attention, right? So abstraction basically for us is a mission to improve the efficiencies of how users can allocate the time such that they can maximize the encounter and DeFi use cases that they can interact on chain, right? Secondly, it's about expansion. So think about like average users will only have about 5 to 10 minutes a day. What else? What the other times are allocating on? Maybe on TikTok, maybe on like or Amazon, maybe on like the different like Alipay or PayPal examples, right? We need to compete for more user attention from them, right? So like custodian services, also like payment services, and also real-world asset services, it needs to be combined together. We need to work together to improve like on abstracting away the user steps and for them to like experience as a whole system. So we as a whole market can grow better to compete for more attention from those markets instead of like competing with the internal resources. Yes.
Awesome.
Great. So we don't have too long left here. So you're going into retail now. You're not sticking just with institutions. You're now going B2C as well.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty well capturing the telco wholesale market already. You know, again, $6 billion in transactions in the past 18 or so months, and we're well set to increase that number quite a bit exponentially as we bring in more and more liquidity into our liquidity protocol for Zebu. So now we're mainly focused on, I guess, 3 things. Main thing is the Zebu protocol, where we have node operators that effectively act as our network's consensus mechanisms to verify transactions, source the cheapest possible liquidity, provide abstraction services such as gas abstraction, and then stake ZBU as economic security, and then also liquidity providers that enable us to provide low slippage transactions across the board. So as we bring on those participants, we're now able to enable more and more industries, such as direct retail of cell phone service providers, and also horizontally expand to other institutional providers, such as shipping, commodities, automated payments, etc.
Okay. So more participants, more liquidity,
Yes.
more useful service.
Yeah, and then all of the participants that join us in the Zebu protocol are effectively able to earn a share of our revenues. So real world yield paid out in stablecoin.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all time we have for today. Thanks very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.